Hey guys, Farrell here. Today we're going to talk about the Fujifilm 23mm F1.4, the version that has a linear motor and is also weather resistant. Let's get straight into this. So I had a photo shoot coming up where I really wanted to use one of the linear motor lenses to see how it performed. And I rented the lens directly from Fujifilm. Now for reference, this version of the 23mm is considered Fujifilm's Pro version. There are a couple of other 23mm lenses they do, but this is by far their most expensive and their most feature packed. So it has an aperture ring which is lovely and clicky. Again, it has the weather resistance and it has those super fast linear motors, which are absolutely fantastic for focusing. Super fast, super sticky, and they absolutely stay on target. It also has a 58mm filter thread, and the reason I wanted to use this was I really like the 23mm focal length. Now in full frame terms it works out at roughly a 35mm f2 lens, which is plenty good enough for daily use and again for the kind of event photography that I like to do. So I've been eyeing up the linear motor lenses for a little while, and the only experience I have with them is I had briefly owned the 90mm f2, which is an absolutely fantastic lens, but it's a little bit niche and I just didn't need it anymore, so I ended up selling it. Side note, if you are looking at that lens, it's one of the best lenses Fuji makes. It's absolutely incredible. Now, going back to this 23mm f1.4, I rented it for an upcoming wedding that I was going to shoot, and the rental period was only for a couple of days so I could get used to it and then take it to the actual shoot. Now, I knew I was comfortable with that focal length, and obviously I knew I was going to be comfortable being able to get a little bit more light into the lens and having faster autofocus. What I wasn't prepared for was the fact that the lens that's shooting this video now is my own copy of the 23mm f1.4 linear motor weather resistant version. I ended up buying it straight after that photo shoot. It was such a good lens. Now the main downsides are it's a bloody big lens. It's a really big lens, and it's so big that I think it only suits certain Fujifilm bodies. I think it would be a push to put it on an X Pro body, but I do think it fits very well on my X-T4, and I think it would fit really well on the XH line of cameras as well. I don't think it would be too bad on the XS line of cameras, but again, anything like XE or X Pro, I think you're going to really struggle with this camera, but I don't think that's what it's really made for. This is very much their Pro line of lenses, so I do think it suits those Pro style bodies a little bit more. Not to say you can't use it, of course you could, but it would be very front heavy. Hell, it's even front heavy on my X-T4. So aside from being a chunky bugger, what are the other downsides? Well, I don't like the lens hood. It purely from a visual aesthetic, I just don't like how it looks. Okay, I'm used to the square hoods. That's what I like. On this, I do find that I don't like the petal design of lens hoods anymore. It looks very much as everyone else does, and that's not really what Fujifilm were known for. Outside of the size of this lens, the weight of this lens, and the lens hood, what other negatives are there? None. Honestly, none. It's a bloody fantastic lens. Now, you could argue that it's a little bit of a clinical lens. I certainly wouldn't dispute that, especially compared to some of the vintage XF lenses. But I've got to say the image quality is absolutely superb. It's razor sharp, edge to edge, even at f1.4. And I did find that I was shooting quite wide for a lot of the event, and the images came back absolutely beautifully. I suppose one of the negatives we could also talk about is the price. It is a very expensive lens. However, I do feel that it's worth it. You've got a lot of other budget 23mm lenses available to you. Hell, prior to this, I was using the Viltrox 23mm f1.4, and that was a really cheap lens. I got it for less than £200 used, and I've used that on events too, but that is a much softer lens. It is a much smaller lens, but that has a lot of chromatic aberration. It doesn't have any weather sealing. It doesn't have the super nice aperture ring. So yes, this was quite an expensive purchase in the end. I think I got it for around 500 used, which is, again, for a professional grade lens, I don't think is bad at all, but it's definitely a point against it. Overall though, absolutely fantastic. I hope you're enjoying the images. The focusing was amazing. Even on my old faithful X-T4, I had absolutely no problems getting focus with this lens, and it performed all the way through the event with no hitches at all. And going forward, this will definitely be my primary event lens. Now, I know there's been a few people giving me some hate recently that, oh, you're leaving Fujifilm in the comments. I'm not leaving Fujifilm, okay? I love my Leica cameras. They are my cameras for me that I will also use for work because I like to give you guys some reviews and I don't like to baby my gear. But my X-T4 isn't going anywhere. I did nearly buy the XE5, but again, there is a video about that. But no, I'm not going anywhere. I'm stuck here with Fujifilm for the long haul, going on almost 10 years now, I believe. I am trimming down my Fujifilm lens collection though. I've got this, I've got the original 56mm 1.2, I've got the original 35mm 1.4, and I've got the original 18mm f2. I've still got the Fujinon f2 23mm, which I will do a review at some point. I just need to find a chance to make it shine, really. It's not my kind of lens, that one. But yeah, I'm still in Fujifilm, guys. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere. Been here for a long time, and if I have it my way, I'm going to be sticking around even longer. So let me know if you have any thoughts on the Fujifilm 23mm f1.4 linear motor weather resistant lens. It is absolutely fantastic. I think it's a brilliant lens. Maybe a touch clinical, but again, the image quality for clients is just absolutely superb. And when it comes down to it, for clients, you need the performance. Don't get me wrong, I've done many a shoot on the older lenses, but this thing absolutely blows those older lenses out of the water. It's reliable, I don't have to worry about a little bit of rain, and it's super, super fast. Now, in terms of video performance, I'll let you decide. I've shot this video entirely on my own copy of the Fujifilm 23mm f1.4, and also most of my recent videos have actually been shot on this. I've been shooting on this lens for video work for around the last 3 months, and again, I'm really happy with the quality of the videos that are coming out of it. It's not having an issue keeping me in focus, and again, we're using an older Fujifilm body, which are notorious for having focusing issues, but I've been managing absolutely fine for these talking head videos. And again, the image quality for the videos is absolutely brilliant. So I did end up selling my Viltrox 23mm 1.4. Not a bad lens at all, but again, very much a budget 23mm lens. So if you've got any questions, if you've got any thoughts, if you have this lens, let me know down in the comments. I've got a pretty good community down there, so I'd love to be chatting to you. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Peace.